you're going through a miracle.
Yeah.
And not enough people are actually
sharing that side of that
beautiful story about it.
Yeah, like I feel like there's, from what I've seen and been exposed to, there's not enough positive pregnancy stories and positive labor stories.
I think that's the most important message that we can send out to parents out there. Yeah. Is like, yeah, pregnancy is going to be hard on both of you. Set your own expectations.
I love that. Just the idea of just being okay that this is your own experience. Yes, there are other experiences and other stories and all these other narratives out there, but this is your own experience. Yeah. This is your own story.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ammar.
And my name is Hannah.
And we are the Love Coaches.
We're on a mission to help as many single Muslims find their potential spouse. Come and listen to our incredible journey of how we met each other.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you really love our content. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Ammar.
And I'm Hannah.
And we are the Muslim Love Coaches. And welcome to a new episode of our lovely podcast, doing it from our home, inshallah. Today, we're going to discuss a very important topic for couples, families, and especially ladies. We're discussing our journey as a couple, specifically on Hannah's journey on having a baby and being pregnant, inshallah. So please, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That will go a long way for us. And definitely, if you love the episode, share it with as many people as you wish. So we're going to start with a dua, inshallah. Bismillah. Allahumma ashrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Bismillah. Tawakkaltu ala Allah. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Bismillah.
So my first question for you will be, honestly, not when you got pregnant. It's a while before.
Okay.
What was going through your mind before being pregnant? And I would love to mention that you were at the age of 29, right? When we first got married.
Yeah.
I want it to be a free question. I don't want to put any restraints. So what was going through your mind before getting pregnant?
Before, I've always known that I wanted to have a family of my own, wanted to become a mum. I felt like I have been a mum for many kids in my life, like my nieces, my nephews, my students. I felt like I've played the mum role for a lot of people, and I felt like I was ready to play that for my own kids. So yeah, there was just a biological feeling in me that I want to become a mum. Though when we got married, for me, it's like, I don't want to become a mum just yet. For me, it was like, I'm still adjusting to a new country, living with someone new, and I'm just freshly married. So there was a part of me that was like, oh, not now. Like, yes, I want this, but not now, because I still feel like I'm not in the right headspace to go on this journey of pregnancy and becoming a mum. So there was a part of me that was like a little bit nervous about the idea of falling pregnant so soon when I just transitioned to a new country and a new life here. So that was one aspect. And then there was, like, I would say...
How have you been able to let it out and communicate it with me, or did you have any fears?
About falling pregnant?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely I had a lot of fears about falling pregnant. And I think as time progressed, and I think this was maybe, I don't know how many months into our marriage. I think it was like 7 months or 8 months. I wanted to fall pregnant. Like in my head, I had a timeline, right? Yeah. And I should know this because I've always discussed, like, don't have a timeline, Hannah. Like,
what do you mean by having
like a timeline? Like, you wait 1 year, then you have a baby, all of that. Like,
we have all these expectations
in our heads. But then I felt like I was ready sooner to start the journey of becoming pregnant. So that's when I shared with you that I want to fall pregnant. I want to start the journey now. I don't want to wait another year or 2 years. I want to start this journey now, and that's what I shared with you. And I did have a fear, and I think this fear is, but what if I don't fall pregnant? What if I can't fall pregnant? And I just want to validate there's so many women out there that are struggling to fall pregnant right now and that have had miscarriages and that have tried and have had to have interventions. My heart goes out to you because it's such a hard journey, and it's also a mentally taxing journey, like wanting to fall pregnant and not seeing that you are getting pregnant.
Even if you're perfectly, alhamdulillah, healthy,
yeah.
and it actually crosses your mind as like, what if I don't get pregnant? What if there's something wrong with me? What if there is a lot of what ifs?
Yeah, there is.
How did you overcome these fears?
So before I answer that, I just want to add to that as well. It's like we're also told by society that once you hit your 30s, your fertility drops, and that was it's a scary factor for a lot of women, and it was scary for me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 30. My biological clock is ticking. I need to get a move on. I want to fall pregnant. I don't want to have complications. I don't want to have interventions and all of that. So
it gets harder by
the years. So
riskier.
Yes. So I feel like, yes, while that is medically true, our biological clock, like our fertility does change over the years as a woman, for sure. I'm not dismissing that. I just feel like that narrative just puts a lot of pressure on the woman, and it causes her a lot of fear within her own body, and not trusting that her own body will be able to, inshallah, get pregnant. And also leaning upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you can fall pregnant. Like, yes, there is biological factors, but ultimately it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and having comfort that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that says kun fayakun. And like what helped me, yes, I was scared, and yes, I had some disappointments where I thought I was pregnant and I wasn't pregnant, and I was crushed. I was like, oh my God, but what if there's something wrong with me? That thought has crossed my mind a lot of times. What if there's something wrong? What if I can't have a baby? What if I can't have that family of my own? So that dream that I built in my head like would crush down, like, what if I can't do that? And I think what helped me stay afloat is your support, and also just reminding myself it's Allah. Like, Allah is the one that can do it. And like, if we look at Maryam alayhi salam, she got pregnant. If you look at her like circumstances, you think it's impossible for her to get pregnant, but subhanAllah, she got pregnant without a man. Like when we say, yes, the biological sticking, let's look at Maryam alayhi salam. She didn't even have the key ingredient that the medical world says that it's absolutely necessary.
But honestly, the viewer would look at this, not to dismiss it, but they will look at it and be like, but she's
she's a great lady.
Who am I to compare myself to Maryam? She had a like the one and only miracle in this whole world, right?
Yeah.
Nobody had that miracle, so who am I to compare myself to Maryam?
Well, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us her story then? Like, yes, that's the reason why Allah told us her story. Like, why else? Like, these are the reasons why we have the Prophet's stories and these great ladies, their stories in the Quran is for us to lead on their example. Allah doesn't...
To learn from it.
To learn from that. Not just because to say, they're great and that's it, I can't do... That's a hopeless situation. Like, what are you going to do with that? And she's not the only one. If you look at Zakaria alayhi salam, he was inspired by Maryam, mashallah, that he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah blessed him with his son. And if you look at Ibrahim alayhi salam, like his wife Sarah laughed, fadahikat. Allah tells us the moment where she knew she was pregnant and she laughed, like the farha, the excitement. So what does that go to show? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that can say kun fayakun, and it will happen. It's just having that yaqeen and trust and hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if there's a woman that's watching this that's single and that is in her 40s or in her late 30s and is having fertility issues, or maybe that's a lady that is married and that has been trying to get pregnant for such a long time, take hope in that reminder of Maryam alayhi salam and Zakaria and Ibrahim, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got you, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala literally will say kun fayakun, and it will happen for you, inshallah. Just leaning upon Allah and having that trust and tawakkul.
That's a beautiful.
Upon Him. Yeah.
Finally, you got pregnant.
Yes.
Tell me what emotions, what happened? How did you feel when you first knew?
I was so happy. It was a big happiness that, oh my God, like, I'm pregnant. Like, is this real? Like, there was a part of me that it was real. And then there was a part of me that was also terrified. And again, this comes through the narrative that we're told in society, the 3 months, you got to be really careful because you could have a miscarriage. You need to keep it quiet. You need to keep it hush. You don't share the news with everyone because, there is a high chance of miscarriage. And while that's true medically, again, it just robs you of the happiness. And I feel like I was nervous in those first 3 months, and I was like, is this still real? Is this still going to happen? Rather than living in the moment and just like living each day as the pregnant woman that I was, rather than expecting that, oh, maybe something can go wrong. So yeah, I found that really difficult. I would say that that narrative like, you know, like you might lose the baby, or you might have a miscarriage, or
that must be really hard to go through that.
Yeah.
How else would you have lived it?
I would have loved to chose to live it each day. Like, okay, I'm pregnant today. I'm still pregnant today. Like, today is a new day and I'm still pregnant. Alhamdulillah, let's celebrate that. Like, let's be in the present.
I'm so curious. Like, I want to go inside your brains and know, like, what was going through your brain. Tell me more. Like, so you wanted to be like, oh, I just want to live day by day. Yeah. I'm pregnant today. Yeah. So how was it?
I was living in the future, like, what will happen? Am I still going to be pregnant? I was jumping to the future. I was trying to solve future problems that didn't even exist in my mind. And yeah, like living for the future, which I think robbed me of the happiness in that current moment. And then also, like, as well, like, this is another thing that I feel like there's a lot of narratives around that pregnancy is a hard journey. I'm not dismissing that pregnancy is really hard, and the first trimester you're not going to be able to do anything. And like, while that's beautiful to have that, because it validates women that have really tough first pregnancies and first trimesters, on the other hand, I felt like I wasn't surrounded by stories of like good pregnancy stories. Like, I feel like I grew up with pregnancy is hard, labor is the worst and the most painful thing you'll ever experience in your life. So I feel like I've been fed this narrative from other women growing up in my life, and from what I've seen, and also like society in general, that I feel like I played out that narrative in my head. Like, I made up this story about what pregnancy could be like and what it should be like. Like, it's like there's a blueprint that pregnancy has to look like a certain way. Is
it like because all the focus was on the bad side, or the hard side of pregnancy?
Yeah, the hard side and the bad side of pregnancy. Well, like I said, like, it makes sense that those stories are shared because it validates experiences of hard pregnancies. But again, I just didn't feel like it was balanced out.
So what you're saying is basically there is another side for the story, which is like you're going through a miracle.
Yeah.
You're going something like amazing. Yeah. You're actually having a baby inside your tummy, which is a miracle.
Yeah. So
and not enough people are actually sharing
that side of that
beautiful story about it.
Like, I feel like there's from what I've seen and been exposed to, there's not enough positive pregnancy stories and positive labor stories. Like, and for the women that do have positive labor experiences, they're scared to share it. And they've told me, like, I'm scared to share it because, like, other women around them have had hard pregnancies and they don't want to, like, dismiss them. Like it's almost like they don't want to make them feel bad. It's like they're almost ashamed of saying their own labor stories because the overwhelming stories that are exposed to is quite negative. So,
but in that instance, they're basically dismissing themselves. Yeah. They're not being able to share their own part of
because your labor story is unique to you. So that's another thing that I think I struggled with in my first part of my pregnancy, is that narrative that I was fed and believed about what pregnancy is like and what it should look like and what labor is like, I think fed into a lot of my fears, especially in that first trimester period. Although, alhamdulillah, I feel like, and I'm going to share my experience, and like I said, every woman has a different experience. Every woman has a different body. Every woman is going to go through different symptoms. Alhamdulillah, I feel like overall my pregnancy from a physical perspective, alhamdulillah, has been overwhelming, very, very positive. Yes, I'm not saying that I didn't have, I have pains and aches and like, oh my God, for sure. But overwhelmingly, like, alhamdulillah, it's been a beautiful experience in terms of that. Yes, I've had hard days. Yes, there are times where it's really painful and very difficult.
Unstoppable heartburn,
back pain. Oh my God, like Like
the list goes on.
The list goes on and on and on of
You're
all
going through so much change in your body, in your mindset,
Yes.
your hormones.
Yeah.
No, I cannot even start to describe what you're going through.
Yeah.
As a man.
Yeah.
It's a hard journey,
It is.
definitely.
100%. It's a hard journey, and it can also be beautiful. That's what I truly believe. And it all comes down to your mindset. And I think this is something that I'm coming to now terms with, moving into my labor period, going into labor, inshallah. It's just, it all comes down to the mindset that you choose to have. And like what I did find, like my, alhamdulillah, physically overall in my labor, my pregnancy, alhamdulillah, I feel like alhamdulillah, it's been a blessing. Yes, been difficult bumps, but overall, alhamdulillah, very manageable. I feel like it's been an emotional journey more so for me.
Tell me more. What do you mean by that?
Like, I feel like, I don't even know what it's been. I feel like there's been a lot of emotional things that have come up for me that I've had to overcome and come to terms with and accept for myself. And like I feel myself changing through this pregnancy as a woman. And so there's a part of me that misses my mum, and that I had to grieve my mum not being here. And I've cried so much about that. Like we've cried so much about that together, about, mum's not going to be here for my pregnancy, mum's not going to be here for my labor. And that I found really hard, because like, who do you want with you on your journey? The one that brought you into this world, right? The woman that's gone through it. And mum's, like, what I found, what I was craving is like inherently like my grandma. I was missing my grandma. I was missing my mum. I was missing, that maternal bond, and they carry so much wisdom, like the experience of them going through their own pregnancy journeys and their own labor journeys. And that's what I found myself craving. And so I was grieving that idea. Mum's not here. Mum's not going to be here in this new transition of my life. She's not going to watch me move from maiden to mother, as they say. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was very difficult that I found that. And it was also another part that I was grieving, that I'm not here with my family and my friends and my support system that I've built in Australia physically. And that I had to grieve that thought too, like they're not physically here with me in this whole pregnancy journey. And that made me sad, that I had to grieve that part of me as well. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there was
really hard.
It has been really hard. So there's been a lot of grief in that aspect. And then there's the whole...
So when you say grief, tell me more. I want to understand what happened. How did you think about it?
Grief, it's just like a wave of... How I describe it is a wave of sadness and acknowledging what the situation is like for you right now. So that's how I would describe my grief. Like,
and how do you go about grief?
Oh, that's a big question. So for me, I needed to cry about it. I needed to share it with you. I just needed the space, and I needed to be loved. That's what I need in those times when I need to grieve out those parts of my body. Like I tell you, I need to cry. I literally come to you and be like, listen, I just need to cry right now. So it's just, I just needed to grieve that aspect. And then there was also the uncertainty of, are we going to give birth here? Are we going to give birth in Australia? How can we make it work logistically and all of that? So again, that was a part of me that I felt like was an emotional battle, because at the first part, and I remember telling you this even before I fell pregnant, we must give birth in Australia. Like I said it like that, we must, there's no negotiable, like khalas, it has to be this way.
SubhanAllah. Allah, what did Allah teach you through that?
Let go. Like I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned.
Your expectations are...
SubhanAllah. And then Allah changed something in my heart where I'm like, actually, I'm just going to make dua. Ya Allah, whatever is best for me. Ya Allah, if Australia is better for me to give birth there, facilitate it for me. If you think that me giving birth here in the UAE is better for me, Ya Allah, facilitate it for me, make it easy. So
you remember what happened? We got the answer the next day, or is it the same day?
I think it was the same day.
SubhanAllah.
It was the same day. Yes.
We were talking about it, and we decided that, what, like logistically and everything,
it makes sense
to give birth here. Just give birth here.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And I felt content with that.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. So like, yeah, so that's why I say it's an emotional and a mental one, because it's like I had some rigid, like it has to be like this, and then Allah's teaching me how to let go. Allah, like I feel like through this journey, it's been more like lean upon me. Like I've got you. Yes, you don't have your mum, but you've got me, and I love you even more. Like that's what I feel like the lessons that I've been learning through this whole pregnancy journey.
Thank you for sharing that. That must be really. You need to be you need to be brave to share such a story, and I just want to acknowledge that.
Thank you.
The 3 months passed, and you went into your second trimester. How did that look like?
My second trimester was big decisions in my. Actually, towards the end of my first trimester, we were making big decisions about how we wanted our life to be. So it was more like, what do I actually want my pregnancy to look like? Do I still want to be working at school? Do I want to leave? What do I want to do? So it was making that decision that I want to leave school and that I want to give my business. We want to restart, build Muslim love coaches together, because that's something that's more aligned. So I feel like, I don't know, it was a time of like getting rid of things that I didn't want in my life anymore and focusing on things that I actually really loved and cared about. So the second trimester was more like building the business. Honestly, that was my like a lot of it was poured. A lot of my energy was poured into building the business and meeting women from all over the world and doing that. So that's what my second trimester honestly looked like. And yeah, subhanallah. And I want to also say that in my first trimester, there was a fear that I couldn't connect with my baby. Like I didn't feel like she was the real or he was real, the baby. Like, is this baby actually real? Like, does this baby actually exist? Am I actually pregnant? Like, I don't feel a connection with the baby. And I remember expressing that to a friend, like, I don't feel connected to my babies. Like, because is
that normal?
Is that normal? Like, you have these pictures of women like rubbing their belly and talking to their belly, but I felt like I can't connect, like I can't feel the baby yet.
Why am I not feeling that?
Yeah, why am I not feeling that? I can't feel my baby yet. I can't, like, it just felt like, I just looked bloated at that point. I didn't really have a bump at that point. So I'm like, I don't really feel pregnant and I don't, like, why am I not connecting with the baby?
Something wrong. Is something wrong?
There's something wrong. And I remember my friend just like saying to me, just give it time and just like, it's okay. Like it will come. Like, and I love that. Like, it's okay, let go of that expectation that you need to be connected to your baby from the get-go, and you need to rub your belly and talk to your belly from day one, and you need to feel it will come as time. Yeah, so I think my second trimester, I felt like as my belly grew, as I started to feel more things in my belly, which I wasn't sure if it was a kick or it was just gas, honestly. I was like, what is this? I felt a little bit more connected to my baby, and like I felt like, there is someone in there. There is movement in there. There is another soul in my belly. It's not just gas or. So yeah, so that's what my second trimester.
What I'm getting from what you're saying, the gold nugget that we can get out of what you're saying is basically, when we live in expectations, we live like a miserable life. It's really hard when we have those expectations. When we set those expectations, we live a hard life. Yeah. And because this is what we are expected to do. Yeah. And those expectations honestly come from the community that we live in, the people that we surround ourselves with.
100%.
And if we're not really paying attention to what expectations we are setting up for ourselves, our journey in life is going to be really hard.
Yeah, 100%.
And rigid, and because that's not how Allah created us. Yeah. Allah wanted us to. And I remember, subhanAllah, a hadith that describes the moment to be just like the type of plant that goes with the wind. We're not like the type of tree that is like rigid. Yeah. The moment should be like with the wind. You need to be
I love that.
Flexible.
Yeah, go with the flow, rather than the rigid. I love that because I feel like expectations suffocate me.
Yeah.
Like they don't allow me to be who I am and thrive, and it's like they choke me almost. And
you're put in a box,
Yeah.
and you're not allowed to be
Move.
like
Yeah.
move free
Yeah.
in a free way, and that's really important because, as you said, I heard you say it. Every person is different. Every woman is different. Every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
And subhanAllah, if you hear a pregnant lady going through and you expect that you're gonna through the same thing, it's not gonna be the same thing.
It's not gonna be
and
the same.
how is that gonna make you feel?
It's gonna make you feel you're lacking, or you're not.
Am I different? Is that right?
Is that
Is there
normal?
something wrong with me?
Yeah.
And subhanAllah, that narrative is never gonna be okay.
It's never gonna be okay, and it's never gonna get you to the place of contentment within the moment and living in the present. So yeah, I'm so with you on that. And I felt like in my second trimester, it's like I said, it's been an emotional one where where it's like I've been hormonal, where I just cry, and sometimes I'm crying over something that's, I don't know, something that's small. Sometimes I don't even know why I'm crying, and for me, that's really strange because I'm a person that like really knows why I'm crying and can understand why I'm crying. And so for me, it was really weird to it's like almost like a different version of me. It's like, what's happening? I don't even know what's happening in my body. Like, what's going on?
You used to be a really
and also organized person with my
Organized person,
time. So
yeah.
like I had a scheduled wake up at this time, and I found it very hard that I could be consistent in my life, in my business, and all of that. And so there's a part of me that I found difficult because it's like old Hannah, non-pregnant Hannah would wake up at this time, do this time, then she'd have a nap, blah, blah, blah. But then
she's very organized.
Very organized. This pregnant Hannah, no, she feels tired and she just woke up and she needs another nap. And for me, it's like, but you haven't done anything. Like that was going through my mind, but you haven't done anything. What have you achieved today? So it was just like, that was a whole emotional journey as well that I needed to go through.
And did that happen in the second trimester, or was it like the first?
Towards the end of the first, the second mainly, because we were building the business at that time. So yeah, mainly the second trimester, I feel like that came up. That was a big thing for me. So.
And how did you go about that? How did you feel when you knew that, look, I'm not going to be able to be organized? Tell me more about that.
I was fighting that for a long time, where I'm like, no, you have to be, no, you. So there was a lot of inner fighting where it's like, no, show up even if you're tired. Like, do this, like force myself. There was a lot of trying to force myself. But then as a result, that would make me show up in my work and in my life very unhappy and very like cranky and not a pleasant person to be around. And so, yeah, I was trying to fight it for a long time because I'm like, it's like I was telling myself, you have no choice. You need to suck it up. Like this is how it is. And
you're trying to do the same thing that you're very familiar with.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do this. I'm gonna plan my life. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna have my coffee, and then I'm gonna start working.
Yeah.
But that did not continue to work because you would wake up, have coffee, and then you're tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Because there was so much, like there's many things going through your body, and like by the time that you want to start working,
I'm already so tired.
You're
I'm
ready for a nap.
Honestly, by the time I have breakfast, I'd like check my messages and chill for a little bit, like whatever, like an hour and a half after waking up. I'm like, I'm so ready to nap.
And how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like I was letting you down. It made me feel like I was a failure. It made me feel like why can't I do, like there are, like, again, this is where the expectation, there are other women that go to works that have to go to a job and they do it.
I need to interrupt you, please. I'm sorry. See what I'm hearing? I'm hearing like other women.
Yeah.
That's what
the comparison.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't say sorry. Thank you for, that's what it was. That's honestly what it was like for me. Like, or other women do this, other women do that. Like, why can't I just, suck it up and work? And so it was a lot of trying to force myself, and that led me to show up half-heartedly in a lot of aspects in my life. And that made me feel guilty. So it was like
Yeah.
a cycle. Like I feel guilty is like, yeah, that's how I would say it. It was like a
Vicious cycle.
vicious cycle.
Thank you for sharing that. It must be really hard to go through that. So what happened after that?
What happened was, it was a lot of your reassurance that listen to your body. It's okay. You can't be consistent right now, and that's okay. We work with your energy. You kept saying that and re-emphasizing that to me. And so it was about me accepting that for myself. I had to learn to let go of all these expectations, let go that this is an old version of me and that I have a new version of me right now and that I need to work with where I am right now. And it's okay if I say to you, I need a nap right now. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, I can't do this right now. I just need more time. It's okay to say that. And for me, that's so strange. Like, this is so out of my norm to say things like that, or to like be so disorganized in that aspect of my life. So I want to acknowledge you, because you played a big instrumental role in reassuring to me the importance of listening to my body and not making me feel guilty and not shaming me for not being organized in how I'm showing up. Just really listening to my body and understanding what I'm going through. So thank you.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing is basically what you needed is support.
Yeah.
You needed space.
Yeah.
And you needed someone to just validate that you are feeling tired and you are feeling unorganized and that you're going through so much change. That's what I felt.
Yeah.
I felt like I could tell after like the time that we got married, like I could tell that you're tired and you're ready for a nap. And when you're like, all right, let's work. I'm like, no, you cannot work. I can see it in your face. You're tired and you need a nap. And subhanAllah, I mean, it's very important. Like, and I kept telling that to you that honestly, I cannot make that decision for you. I cannot make you think that.
Yeah.
Like, you need to start learning and hearing that, listening to your body that, hey, I'm tired and I need a nap. Even though I just woke up and I just had coffee and ate breakfast and I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're pregnant.
Yeah.
And I had to say that over and over and over and again.
And I'm glad you kept saying it. Like, I'm glad you never gave up on that message. I'm glad you just kept re-emphasizing it to me and reassuring me that it was okay and that listen to your body. And I can't make the decision about when you want to work. Like, you need to make that decision, Hannah, and you just need to communicate that to me. So, yeah, I love that you kept saying that. So thank you.
Alhamdulillah. So I believe, what could be your advice for the husbands out there, for like, depending on the woman, on their like journey in their pregnancy, what could be your advice for the husbands?
Just be an emotional support for her. And I know that this is such a big thing to say, because most men struggle with being comfortable with emotions and being comfortable with hearing their wife being sad and all of that. And that's the best support that she really does need. Yes, physical support, yes, is wonderful, as in like helping around the house and doing things, wonderful. Do that as well. She really wants from you emotional support. So just hearing her, holding space for her, and you don't need to solve her problem, because there is no problem to be solved. Like, women don't need that. They just need to be hugged. They just need to be heard. They just need you to sit with them. They just need to hear. They just need to be able to cry, and you're just listening and just being there with them. Like, and yeah, just being there physically and emotionally with your wife during this, and understanding that she's going through so much change, and sometimes she doesn't even know what's going on with her own body, and sometimes she doesn't understand. Like, one moment she's so happy, and then one moment she's just so emotional and she doesn't understand why, and one moment she's agitated, and then like there's so much change. Like, literally her brain is like changing its chemistry. So like, if you can imagine, like, your brain is changing and rewiring, like a computer, you're getting brand new software being installed into your brain. So there's a lot of changes that are just happening on a mental level. Imagine the physical changes that are happening in her body. And like, there are some women that, you know, their bellies grow and they grow stretch marks and they get very self-conscious about their body, just loving her changes and celebrating her changes and loving that she gets to carry your baby and celebrating that journey with her and just reminding her to stay in the present, reminding her that she's pregnant now and that this is the journey and that she's carrying this beautiful miracle. So that's my advice too.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing the wisdom that you're learning from your own journey.
I'd love to ask you a few questions if that's okay.
Please.
I'd love to know your perspective, right? So you're not carrying a baby. You're expecting a baby. Tell me, how does that feel? Like, what does that feel like for you? Like, you know that you're having a baby.
Like, looking back, I don't feel like I'm connected.
Yeah.
Or I feel like I'm not connected that like, hey, we're having a, I don't like, it kind of like, I don't believe that we're still like, we're going to have a baby.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real still because I'm not going through the changes that you're going through.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the sensations that you're going, that you're feeling.
Yeah.
So like, it's something that it's different for me.
Yeah.
But lately, because we're going through, like, we're buying the baby stuff and I'm trying to upskill myself and learning.
Yeah.
I'm watching videos. And
what videos are you watching? Tell us, what videos are you watching?
How to change a nappy, how to birth
a baby.
an infant. So going through that, I feel more connected. Like, I'm like, like there's something
coming.
that we're buying the crib and the things, you know, like, so I'm feeling more connected. Oh, I'm going to be a father. I'm going to be taking care of her.
So beautiful. And you've also been buying books about parenting and raising kids and that's been beautiful to watch.
Alhamdulillah. So honestly, for me, it's the journey is not like, I'm not feeling tiredness. I'm not feeling the pains. I'm not. But I'm watching you, and I can feel the pain that you're going through, and
How does it feel to watch me go through this? Like I want to because I see it from my point of view, right? And I just want to step out of my point of view and look at it through our mind. How does it feel like to watch Hannah go through all of these hormonal changes, physical changes?
Today, while I was having a shower, I was thinking, subhanAllah, until now, I couldn't realize the importance and the value that my mom had to go through. Like, I really, right now, I can give her the appreciation that she deserves for what she had to go through to have me. Yeah. But before that, I wouldn't.
Because you didn't see it, right?
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't express what I'm feeling. I cannot, like, it's
beautiful. Hard. The way you're expressing makes a lot of sense. Like, you have this deep sense of appreciation for your mum because you've now seen a pregnant woman firsthand, living with a pregnant woman firsthand, and you've seen all of the changes and all of the struggles that come through pregnancy.
And subhanAllah, because we are living together and we are working together, so we're working from home. Yeah. I'm very attained to what you're going through. I'm emotionally available. Yeah. I'm not spending because again, if you're a man and you're working and you're spending most of your day outside at work, I don't feel like you're gonna be very emotionally available to what your wife is going through. Yeah. And that's okay because that's the life that we're living in. We need to be okay with that. But because we are spending so much time together, I can appreciate really what you're going through and the hardships and the pains and the change in your body and the change in your mindset and change in your hormones. Yeah. And I can finally appreciate it.
So beautiful. I love that you can finally appreciate it and you can see it because we do spend all of our day together every day, all day. Is it hard to see me go through these changes from an emotional perspective for you?
Of course. As you said, the journey of pregnancy is hard. We're not going to dismiss this in any way for the woman and for the men, for the wives and the husbands. It is hard. What I'm learning is, in life, hard things have a different taste.
Tell me more.
Because like, I don't know how to explain it. SubhanAllah, like if I could be wrong, but imagine if you worked day and night to get something that you loved, and like you had to go through so much to pay for it, right? The sense of you getting it is going to be different than me just handing it to you.
Yeah.
You're not going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that's the wisdom in having so much hardship
Yeah.
to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
We're talking just about pregnancy. Just going through delivery itself is another topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, appreciating that you have a child it's a miracle, and it's so much hardship that when you have a kid, you'll be like, oh, this is so much precious. Like,
yeah, so precious. You appreciate it.
Protect it.
You appreciate the ni'mah because you understand that this ni'mah didn't, like, this is, yes, like, it's not just something that was just handed to you. There was hardship associated with this beautiful ni'mah. So I love what you're saying there, that it is hard. It's not just a hard journey necessarily for the woman, though there are hardships that men face. So what advice would you give to a fellow man?
They need to be emotionally available for their wives. And I know it could be hard, it could be easy. They could have a certain emotional intelligence level. You just need to be there and validate and listen.
Yeah.
Don't try to fix anything because it's not in our hand at all.
Yeah.
All you need to do is to show love, to show that you care, to show that you're listening, you're really listening. Or hearing your wife cry. Just that, being that is an absolute.
Yeah, I love that. So beautiful, such wisdom, such a beautiful piece of wisdom. Just the importance of just being emotionally connected to your wife and her emotional experience of what she's going through. I love that.
Because like you're not going to be able to take out take her pain away. And subhanAllah, what we're learning is like even you, if you're going through pain, because you cannot take certain medicine, you will have to go through that pain.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Like when I got sick last week, it was so unwell and so much pain, and it was so uncomfortable. But because I could only take Panadol, like, I'm sorry, but Panadol does nothing. Panadol is what you give like to babies, honestly. Like, I had to just accept the pain for what it is. Like, okay, it's so painful. Like, SubhanAllah. So just letting go. Yeah.
You have to go through this pain.
You have to go.
And
accepting it for what it is. So instead of trying to take away her pain or solve her pain, just be there for her.
Be there and support her the way she wants to support.
Yeah.
She doesn't want someone to take her pain away. She just needs to...
She just wants someone to understand. Like, just understand me. Just understand that I'm going through pain. Like, please just know that I'm going through pain right now. That's all I wanted from you. Like, please just understand that this is really painful. I just need to share this with you right now. I just need to let it out with you right now. Yeah.
So, I think that's the most important message that we can send out to parents out there. Is like, pregnancy is going to be hard on both of you. Set your own expectations.
I love that.
And of course you listen to others, you listen to elder people who went through the experience. Though don't try to just replicate their own experience. Just have your own experience and be okay with hardships and be okay with pain. Be okay with things that come up for you.
I love that. Just the idea of just being okay that this is your own experience. Yes, there are other experiences and other stories and all these other narratives out there, but this is your own experience. This is your own story. So your story is going to look very different to somebody else's story. And just, I think the idea of just falling in love that this is your story and that you will tell your story one day, that this is the experience that I went through, and just living in that moment.
Definitely.
Yeah, and appreciating the ni'mah of that moment rather than, like I did very early on, just trying to go to the future and solve all the upcoming problems that I might have. And it's it robs you of the precious joy that you have.
My last question for you is, what helped you throughout your journey? What is the key important thing that you can tell all the moms out there that they can really equip themselves with that can help them throughout their journey?
Oh, that's hard. What's one thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do one thing.
What is one thing that really helped you throughout the journey?
I think listening to positive experiences and other people's mindsets, that's really helped me. Like a friend of me, and I'm never going to forget this, and I love this friend so much. She told me that, going to the hospital to give birth to her son, they were in party mode, her and her husband. They were so excited. They were like so ready. They were so excitable to go to the hospital. And she said, I was eating grain waves. They were my favorite chips at the time. And she's like, I was just having a great time. Like I was just enjoying that I'm going to welcome my son. And that was the first time in my life that I've heard that from someone. Like I've never heard anyone say that I went to the hospital in celebration mode. Never.
It was an eye-opening. I love that she shared that with you.
I love that she shared that with me. And like her message to me was like, don't worry about people's expectations. Don't worry about what might happen. Whatever. Be prepared. Do your birth plan. Do your education. Learn. She emphasized the importance of having that. But then just like live the moment and like just be excited. Like be happy. Like go with the flow.
I love that so much.
So
thank you for sharing that.
So for me, what really helped is like hearing other women's stories about like how the mindset that they went through. And another precious person in my life was sharing with me that like she believed she can do it. Like she believed that she had the pain tolerance and the endurance to go through labor. And she did her research, she did her learning, she had a plan, she was very organized. But she knew she could do it. So it's the mindset like, I can do this. And and she was empowered in that whole labor room because she had the knowledge to equip her about what she really wanted. And she was advocating for herself. Like, this is how I want it to be. This is what would. So like hearing that, I was like, yeah, this is more what this is what I want to go through. I don't want to go through feeling like
hard and pain.
And ignorant and I don't know what's going on and I'm freaking out because there's pain. Rather than like looking at pain as a scary thing, and this is something that I've been learning about in one of my courses, that you reframe what pain actually is. So instead of like one of the ways to reframe pain is that pain is not stronger than you because it's created by your body. You're stronger than the pain. So just looking at pain in a different way that and this pain is like you one step closer to your baby, like having a look at it in that way rather than, oh my God, I can't do this. More like, no, this is one step and my body knows exactly what it's doing.
لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. When Allah tells us that, He's telling us like, look, you're going through so much.
Yeah.
Just knowing that Allah is putting, like, you're going through so much and Allah knows that you can take this. He's not going to put you through something that over you. Exactly. You can take this.
Exactly. And that's what that friend emphasized to me. And this was such a beautiful message. She's like, your body knows what to do, Hannah. Like your body knows how to have a baby. Like it's built. Allah physically built your baby, your body to have a baby. So He knows what to do. So like just trusting that your body knows exactly what to do. And your baby also knows what to do because your baby also needs to work with you to leave your body. So your baby knows how to leave your body. You know what your body knows. And I thought that was such an empowering narrative. I'm like, yes, this is this is what I want more of. Rather than those old stories of pain and and it's the worst thing ever and like
just negative stories.
Yeah, just negative stories.
Negative
stories.
Like negative experiences.
Yes, negative experiences, which again I'm not dismissing, they do exist. Again, I just wanted more of the positive. I just wanted to hear something a little bit more different. That's all.
Wow. I love where we're ending up this episode. I love that there is another side to the story, that there are great examples on how to be pregnant and give birth. Yeah. And I love that we are able to share that story with other people, with the viewers, that you can have a beautiful, hard, and positive pregnancy,
and
inshallah.
birth. Like it can all exist, like all of it can exist together. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it doesn't have to be positive. Like it can be positive and hard. It can be difficult at times, but you still have that beautiful, grateful mindset. Like why can't that all exist? Of course it can, and you choose. And like I think that's the biggest lesson I'm taking away from my journey is you choose your mindset in pregnancy and in labor. And even in pre-pregnancy as well, like if you're wanting to fall pregnant, you choose the mindset. Despite it being hard, you choose the mindset that you want to have. I love that.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for being here today and for sharing your story, although it was scary too, and for sharing with us the knowledge and the wisdom that you've learned throughout the journey.
Thank you for asking some great questions and for also sharing your experience of what it's like to be on the other side of a pregnant woman.
It's always a pleasure to pick on your mind.
Oh, and I love picking on your mind too and uncovering your beautiful, beautiful, delicious mind. So Jazakallah khairan and thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching until now. So if you were enjoying this episode, please like the video and subscribe to our channel because we're always gonna have great content for you guys, and share it with everybody you love, and
also make dua for us and our journey, our rest of our pregnancy journey, please as well.
Please keep us in your dua.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.